You always hear that the government continues to grow. It's getting bigger and bigger, but that's not exactly true. If you look at the last 20 years, the level of federal employees, it's stayed pretty much stagnant. It hasn't really grown much. In fact, there are some federal agencies that are shrinking. They're losing employees. These are the top four. Number 4 is the Department of Army. This agency has seen a 17.8% employee decrease over the past 10 years, from 241,000 to 198,000. This agency is designed to help and support the Army deploy, fight, and win our nation's wars. Now, one of the main reasons we could be seeing a decrease in this agency is because look at the active duty military. The active duty US soldier, that number has been dropping. People don't want to enlist. The deal doesn't seem worth it. Even though we have tens of thousands of dollars we're offering as an incentive, as a recruitment bonus, we still can't get people to come through the door, put the uniform on, and suffer. Because as an enlisted soldier, you will be suffering in some capacity, I guarantee it. But even though they're getting smaller, they're still hiring. If we jump on USAJobs.gov, we can see that there are over 3,400 government jobs in the Department of Army. Most of these jobs are in the 0300, 0800, 1100, and 2210 job series. If you have a background in administration, engineering, business, or IT, there are jobs on here for you. A lot of them are open to the public as well. Number 3 is the National Labor Relations Board. This agency has seen a 24.4% decrease over the past 10 years, from 1,500 to 1,100 federal employees. This agency exists in order to protect the right to form a union. In order to form a union, or to come together without a union, in order to negotiate higher salaries and safer conditions in workplaces. Now, the reason this one is decreasing, look at the unions. People are not joining the unions as much as they used to. In the 1980s, it was something like 20% or over people that were a member of the union. Today, it's something like 10%. It has dramatically fallen back. And this is for a lot of different reasons. You could point to automation. You could point to the temporary worker, the contract worker that's working from overseas, and you don't really have to treat him as a full-time employee. But even despite that, this agency still has a few jobs opening. On USAJobs.gov, we can see there are 9 jobs available, and 5 of them are in the 0300 job series, which are administrative jobs. Okay, number 2 is the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. This agency has seen a 27.3% decrease in employees over the past 10 years, from 3,600 to 2,600. This agency regulates the nation's civilian use of radioactive material, and that seems like a pretty important job. But if you look at how our country is generating electricity, it's not happening that much through nuclear means. We've been retiring nuclear reactors. Instead, we're leaning more towards coal, gas, oil, and then maybe some wind and solar. But nuclear is not the same as it was once before. In fact, there's more of a fear among the public because we hear horror stories about when a nuclear reactor has a leak or it goes wrong or impacts a community. And the idea of the word nuclear exposure, my family might be in danger, I might be in trouble. So that fear of nuclear energy, it still exists. But this agency, still hiring. On USAJobs.gov, we can see there are 32 jobs. Most of these jobs, as you probably guessed it, are in the engineering field. That means they're in the 0800 job series. Okay, so the number 1 agency losing employees is the Office of Personnel Management. This agency has seen a 48% decrease over the past 10 years, from 5,000 to 2,600 employees. This agency is kind of like the HR for all the other agencies. You know, there's over 400 agencies in the federal government, and this is kind of like the mom or the dad, however you want to envision it. It's HR. They're regulating, they're policing, they're putting out policies, they're putting out standards. So everyone's looking up to OPM for guidance. And I'm really surprised that this agency was cut essentially in half over the last 10 years. One of the reasons could be because of contractors. Agencies augment their workforce with contractors. That could be it. Another thing could be automation, new software, new processes where they don't need as many human resource specialists or policy analysts on staff. That could be it too. But surprisingly, OPM, they're still hiring. On USAJobs.gov, there are over 100 jobs in OPM. The majority of these are government jobs in the 0300 and the 0200 series. But despite federal agencies like these that are shrinking, that are losing employees, there are still talks in Congress about doing a negative 6% reduction in all federal agency spending. Now, we still have outliers like the VA, the Veterans Affairs. They have been growing at an exponential rate. The VA has actually grown by over 41% in the last 10 years, from 297,000 to 422,000 employees. However, the hiring and growth, that's on a pause for the rest of this year, probably next year too. We'll have to see how things go. One thing's for certain, we have 18 million veterans in this country, and that number is only going up. As the lifespan of the average person increases, that number is going to go up. It'll soon be 20, 25 million. Those veterans, they're going to need health care. They're going to need access to their benefits. So the VA will probably increase. Not this year, maybe 2025, 2026, it should start hiring again, especially with the PACT Act. What the PACT Act essentially enabled is so many veterans that were not eligible for care, now they're eligible. So the medical professionals that we're going to need in order to address their care, they need to be hired. They need to be sustained. If you are interested in working for any of these agencies, one word you need to focus on, and that's resume. You need to make sure that your resume is relevant and competitive and is written in a fashion that is compelling. You want someone to look at the first page of your resume and they immediately know this is an individual for this role. Let's say it's policy analyst, okay? Policy analyst for you right now. So when I look at that first page, I should see achievements revolving around the word analyzed, evaluated, and policy. It should be all over. Strong, well-crafted success stories that if I'm the hiring manager, I'm like, oh, I got to at least interview Brad. I got to at least interview Lisa, because look at this, the first page. You're tailor-made for this position. But maybe you don't know how that looks like. Maybe you've never seen a competitive resume before. And in that case, you're in luck, because we got some links in the description below. You can download an example of a federal resume in different job series, 0300, 0500. Check that out down below. If you are still looking for a federal government job, we talked a lot about these agencies that are shrinking, but they're still hiring. We do have an agency out there that is being forced to slow all the way down. And if you want to know more about that, I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.